I get asked often, well, Dr. Romie, do you meditate every day? You're busy traveling, on air early in the morning, clinic. Yeah, my team will honestly tell you that every single day in my schedule is built around my prayer and my meditation time. If I have a 6 a.m. flight out of Orlando, it means I'm getting up at 2:30, 3 o'clock to pray and meditate. And why do I do that? It's humbling to be here actually with you all. And I remember when we were on the planning call for this, literally 7 years ago to the date, I was down the road at University of Washington, Seattle here with their brilliant cardiothoracic surgery team. And I was in the middle of pre-op evaluation to go in for urgent surgery. And so it's really humbling to be standing in Seattle 7 years later. At that moment, and God bless Dr. Carlos Pellegrini, the chief surgeon who operated on me and saved my life, we were having that discussion about, we're going into uncharted territory, Romie. You're the youngest patient we've ever had and the most severe case. So be prepared to be back here 6 months, a year from now for subsequent surgeries and possible disability. When I got out and realized that there wasn't cancer in my esophagus and I needed to make a change, I walked down this path of mindful living, eating well, but most importantly, finding a meditation practice every day. 7 years later, I'm standing here today with you all in this ballroom instead of back in that operating room disabled. I have had the sacred honor to bear witness to seeing patients with refractory depression, anxiety, insomnia heal with meditation and integrative medicine, and meditation being a key part, coming off of medications that weren't working or had toxic side effects. I've had the honor to work with large groups such as yourself and corporations to bring meditation into the workplace to make it a more happier place. I do meditate every day. It's a part of the meditation and medicine for my mind. Now, if my mom and dad were here and watching all of this, what would they tell you? If you had the honor to raise a challenging child like a little Romie in your life, they would probably tell you, Romie is responsible for every gray hair on our heads. So if you have a child like Romie, just take a moment and breathe, pray, because you never know in the next breath when they may change the world. I'm Dr. Romie, and I welcome you to breathe, be present, and understand that inner peace is your new success. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bobby.
That was wonderful. I think we all feel so much better. I feel so much less stressed out. So we're going to have time to take maybe 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Let's sit down for a minute. First,
Absolutely.
I get the first question, though.
Yes, Bobby.
So I actually, just last Saturday, I went to an all-day meditation and yoga digital detox retreat. And it was wonderful, and I left feeling as good as I feel now. But when I got home, it was not me and the people that also were believing in this technique. It was my husband, my stepson, and my stepdaughter, and about 7 or 8 devices were on, just the 3 of them. We had 3 TVs on, they had iPads, and they have the phones, the layers of devices. And they kind of looked at me, hey, how was your spa day? I was like, I wasn't even at the spa. They just were kind of in their world. So everyone here is going to go back to their worlds, to their families, to their coworkers, their teams. When this is over, how do you pass on the message when people are so immersed in their devices that they're not really even interested in the message? I mean, we can't bring you home with us.
Well, I hope a piece of my message goes home with everybody. And here's this idea, and to quote the late Mahatma Gandhi, is that we need to be the change we want to see. Nobody has ever listened, including stubborn child Romie, to somebody saying, you have to do this. We must be that change. I think of my godson, Aiden, who I adore deeply. In middle school, he was mislabeled as having ADHD, and I knew what it was. He was the serious gamer. And so to now go and sit and have to pay attention to a teacher for 45 minutes was really challenging for him after, brain being rewired. And instead of, he wouldn't listen to mom and dad when they were like, sit down with your Auntie Romie and learn how to meditate. It's going to be good for your brain. It was him actually seeing the change and me talking to him about how it's helped my health. And then 2, finding his motivating factor. Like, Aiden, you know this is going to help your brain power for your video games, right? If you sit and digital detox.
That's what it is.
So it's finding the motivating factor. And number one, we need to be that change and explain to our spouses or our children or our grandchildren or whoever is in our home why this is important to us, and will you buy in with me? Because here's the first thing that happens when we decide to do digital detox with my clients at home. It's people realize, like, I'm kind of uncomfortable in this marriage. Like, how do I talk to you? I don't know how to talk to you anymore. And then all of a sudden, the sparks of romance come back. Or people feel reconnected to their teenagers who used to just grunt and communicate by text. We need to learn how to be present with one another again without these screens in between. But it all starts with us as individuals. So if you all can make a commitment to yourselves to try this for 30 minutes when you go home at night, and maybe find one accountability partner if you're here with someone from your own company or your spouse or a friend, and give it a try for 7 days. And then see how it benefits you. I know you'll see a change. You can tweet me, email me. We love hearing back from clients after I've been speaking. It's me responding back to you personally, and let us know how we can support you. Yeah.
Great. Do we have one audience question maybe?
Yes, yes.
How do you go from like a 3-minute to 30 minutes or now? I mean, 3 minutes seems completely doable and easy. 30 minutes or an hour seems like a really long time. I mean, how did you kind of get to that point?
By practicing, right? Anybody here a half marathon runner in the room?
Shazia here?
And Shazia, right? I heard and a couple back here. It's been on my life list. I don't call it a bucket list anymore because I don't plan to kick the bucket. I kind of got over that already. And right now, I can run about 2 miles and then be completely short of breath and look like I'm ready to die on the side of the road, right? Would anybody recommend I get up to run a full marathon tomorrow morning? No, right? It takes training and practice and dedication, and that's exactly what meditation is. So I start with 3 minutes because that's what the science shows, that when we're in that peak emotional state or not our best selves and in a state of chaos and we need to come back to calm, it takes 3 minutes. Typically at night when you do this, if you walk through those few steps, the breathing, allowing the waterfall of thoughts, the thought bubble, and reciting the mantra, that alone becomes about 5 minutes. And just sit there and be. You can use a timer on your phone, but I really don't prefer folks to use a phone or those meditation apps because it's too easy to then start opening up email and social media while you're meditating, you know? It happens. I hear it from more than one client. So allow it to happen. Ideally, when we look at the clinical studies for people who want to either improve their athletic peak performance, creativity, innovation, or for clinical utility of meditation, like for depression, anxiety, it's typically building up to a 20-minute practice once a day. But really, I tell you, if my mind was a marathon runner, I would be running an Ironman every day in my meditation practice. It didn't start that way. By nature, I'm a neurotic neurologist. You and I all share very analytical minds together. So it just takes practice. So don't feel like a failure if you don't get up and run the marathon tomorrow morning, because I'm not. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
This was
Bobby.
wonderful.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you. Many blessings. Thank you.